it's Reija, and it's time for another Top 5 Wednesday. Now, if you haven't heard of the Top 5 Wednesday, it is a Goodreads group that was founded by gingerreadslainey, but is currently moderated and hosted by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, and I will leave all the links down in the description so you can go and check it out. This week's topic is our favorite side ships, so basically pairings that do not involve the protagonist in any way. So pairings between side characters, antagonists, etc. Let's just get started. First on my list are Leldorin and Mandoralen from the Belgariad. Now this was pretty much the first ship I ever seriously considered and started shipping, and these two are not canon in any way. Both of them get married during Belgariad and Malorea, and in canon they have a very fraught friendship because they start out as kind of enemies that have to work on the same side. But that's exactly what makes them really good shipping material, because they come from a country that was ravaged by civil war and they are on opposing sides, and they kind of hate each other at first, but then form this true friendship that never ends, and they are there for each other through thick and thin. So you kind of get a sense that if Eddings was willing to go the extra mile and was willing to go there, he could have had some serious pairing gold with Mandoralen and Leldorin. So that's why they're on my list. Next up on my list are Bokuto and Akashi from Haikyuu, which is a sports manga that is currently published in Shonen Jump, and it is aimed at teen boys, but it has a very big female following, and as you do, you also have a lot of same-sex shipping going on in that series, and I really love Bokuto and Akashi. They're not going to become canon because, honestly, when does anything in shonen manga ever become canon? But I really love their dynamic. Akashi is the more serious of the two, and he knows every little quirk that Bokuto has. Bokuto is pretty much the poster child for ADHD, and he is very self-deprecating and kind of wacky, and he needs that kind of serious person to keep him grounded, and that's where Akashi comes in. They have a really nice chemistry and dynamic, and I love how they play off each other. Next up on my list are Haruka and Michiru from Sailor Moon, or Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune. Can I just say that I really love them? I love them so much that I even got the figurines. This was probably one of the first anime ships that I ever truly got into. And I just really love how they are there for each other. They kind of have this really flirty relationship. Even when I first watched Sailor Moon, these two seemed like they had something really special going on and that they truly loved each other. And it was marvelous to see that in a series that was aimed to young girls and teenage girls. So you don't often get to see that, and considering this is a very old series, I think that it really pushed some boundaries, and these two are very much canon. Next up on my list are Roy and Riza from Fullmetal Alchemist, and these two are not exactly announced canon, they're more implied to be in a relationship. I really love them. They are everything to me. Roy is this alchemist with really dangerous, awesome powers. Like, he could level a whole city, and he has actually done so. He could level a whole city to the ground. And Riza, who has none of these superpowers, is there to ground him, is there to be at his side, to make sure that he doesn't turn from the path that he's going on, and make sure that he stays as a good person, basically, or that he doesn't become something that he would hate. I just love everything about them. They have a really nice dynamic. During the series, it is made really clear that these two care immensely about each other, and they're there for each other all the time, and whenever something bad happens to the other goes berserk. It is so clear that there's a love there, but they don't even kiss during the series, and there's a very limited amount of physical contact between them. And I kind of like that about them, because they are very professional, because they are also colleagues, they work together. So there's a really nice tension between them. They have this awesome rapport between them, and you can't help but become addicted when you watch them in action. And last up on my list are Beatrix and Steiner from Final Fantasy IX, which is my favorite Final Fantasy. And I just love the fact that Beatrix is the head of the Alexandrian military, and she is an awesome female knight, and Steiner is kind of like a subordinate to her. So they have a power dynamic where she's in the lead. And for the most part of the game, Beatrix is actually on the side of the antagonists. Eventually she comes around, and at the end they finally get together, and it is beautiful and awesome and everything I ever hoped. And it is just really nice to see a ship become canon where there's a power dynamic where the female character is the dominant one, because you don't often see that in mainstream media. And I think that Beatrix and Steiner are a really good example of that. And there you have it. These have been my top 5 side ships. If you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!